Hey lovely. So I'm back in my noisy my noisy neighborhood. It's it's wildernessy sort of here. I mean, there's trees and there's grass, and across the street there are goats. Our neighbors have chickens and ducks and such, and yeah, and there's a heavy thoroughfare. So another set of deck dialogues, and all of this is in the service of discerning what deck I want to use for the 2022 Mindful Tarot Drop 'em 78 Challenge, a challenge where starting October 15th, the invitation will be every day to focus on a different one of the 78 cards, starting with the Pentacles, moving through to the Wands, then the Cups, then the Swords, and then ending with the Majors, finishing up with the World on December 31st. The Drop 'em 78 Challenge is an invitation to go deep with the imagery and the structure of one particular deck. You choose the deck. I have thoughts about that I've actually offered videos on before, and I'm going to link a couple of videos from last year. I have thoughts about why we should start with the Pentacles. It has everything to do with how important it is to ground ourselves, to feel the earth, and then to allow ourselves to connect with the fire of inspiration in the Wands, and then to open our hearts to the flow of the Cups, and then to be ready to get incisive and to pierce through with the Swords, going through all four elements of the minor arcana before we actually then make our way through the journey of the Fool. So that's the 78 day challenge, Drop 'em 78. How to pick a deck. So I've been doing these deck dialogues and been encouraging people to do so. And as we, get closer and closer to October 15th, I'm doing more and more of these online with I've been posting them on the Facebook page for Mindful Tarot, which, parenthesis, by the way, if you're not on the Mindful Tarot Facebook page and you want to be, just ask to join. Drop me an email if you want to join our monthly tarot Zooms. Just connect with us. It's a fun and loving group of people. Everyone's sort of committed to awakening through the cards and also having fun with the cards, right? So I've gotten more and more intent on sharing these deck dialogues with you all because it helps me stay focused. I love sharing it. And because I think that this approach to a kind of open-ended conversation with the cards isn't how we always are trained to work with our decks. And so I like sharing my pathway through. But I thought today I would do a kind of dueling deck dialogue thing. And I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do two different duels, if we will. They're not really duels, friendly conversations. One focusing on two black and white decks, two very different black and white decks. Both decks that I don't know, that are either new to me or that I've had for a while but I haven't dived into. And then the second duel that I want to share with you guys today, which I may split off into a separate video. We'll see how long this gets. The second duel is between two very different hybrid decks, okay? Hybrid meaning decks that integrate the Waite-Smith imagery, the imagery that Pamela Coleman Smith brings to the cards in 1909, and the Marseille style imagery. So two Marseille Waite type decks. But first, the black and whites. So I'm going to start with Anna Turian's Tarot of the Abyss, which has sat in my cauldron drawer, my drawer of cards that I buy because I know I want them in my collection, but I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready to dive into them for one reason or another. And so they sit in this drawer, sort of seasoning, simmering, until I take them out to work with them. Someone in the Mindful Tarot Facebook group was mentioning the Tarot of the Abyss as a possible choice for their 78, Drop 'em 78 challenge. And I thought, it might be a deck I should get to know. I love Anna Turian's heart and her vision Her artwork is a little bit more fae and fairy-ish than my usual go-to deck language, but I love it. I respect it deeply. So yeah, Tarot of the Abyss. A really gorgeous deck, which I don't know at all, except from looking at briefly in my hot little hands and watching other people's videos about it. I've never read with this deck, ever. Okay, here are the backs. It's beautiful. And the cardstock, that really nice US Games matte cardstock. It's a little bit stiff, but it breaks in really nicely. I'm just gabbing with you guys tonight. I don't know if any of you are people who meditate. Some of you may be, and if you do, you might be the kind of meditator who has like the black meditation cushions that are round, sort of spherical, called Zafu. One of the things about a good Zafu is you get it and it's like kind of plump and kind of hard, and then you meditate with it and you sit on it and you sit on it and you sit on it day after day and you break it in, right? They're filled with this kind of cotton-like material called kapok, which is like usually more dense than cotton. Sometimes they're filled with buckwheat, but the traditional ones, and you break them in. And that's what these cards are like. That's what this US Game cardstock always makes me think of, that it's stiff and beefy, and you're gonna break it in beautifully with your riffle shuffling. It will stand up to your shuffling. It will stand up to everything you bring to it. Okay. So, Tarot of the Abyss. One more little riffle shuffle. What do you want to show me? What do you want to teach me? Oh, holy cow. So I've been getting a lot of wands lately and a lot of Knight of Wands. And here you go. So I'm not going to look at the guidebook. That is, if I do the challenge, something I will do is I'll look at Anna Turian's words about these cards. I'm just going to go from the image right now. And to me, the sense of this spark that you carry and how that might enliven you. Yeah, how that might enliven you, how that may lead you. Your anima, your soul, the journey, and what it means to attend to that spark and to allow it to take you, to allow yourself to respond to the world. There we go. Okay, so are you saying you're going to help me nurture and be nourished by my spark? I like that. I like that. It's a very gentle image of the Knight of Wands, of fire. Is that what you're telling me? Oh, God. Yeah, all right. I'll reach for it. Okay, so you're telling me that the spark is both in me and outside me, and you're going to help me reach for it, yeah? You're going to help me expand up to it. Is that where I need to go right now? Is that the journey that you're taking me on? If I play with you, is that the journey that we'll go to? Ooh. Now you're saying don't try to hold on to this too tightly. There's a journey here. But if you try to grab it too tightly, in some ways, I've tried to characterize this deck because I think of it as, I think of the artwork as I was saying, like fae or fairy, or just like kind of a little bit too delicate, a little bit too femme for me, which is a weird way to put it. And it's saying, don't try to hold this so tightly. Allow the spark to spark you. Okay, cool. Tarot of the Abyss. And you know, I will look at the guidebook on those cards. Because I'm super curious. Actually, I'm so curious that I'm going to look at the Knight of Wands at least right now, because that was a very extraordinary Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands cradles in his hand an intriguing creature, a fire elemental. We can see the Page of Wands in the background, who stands ready with the wood and kindling she has collected. She has prepared the base for the fire, but without the creative spark the Knight of Wands has harnessed, no fire can exist. Okay, so that figure is me too. I was thinking it was Anima, but it's the page in me. Okay, there's more in the guidebook, but I think that's helpful, that, you know, that it is about that spark. Yeah. The other black and white deck I just got, this is another Pedro inspired deck. Pedro, you're gonna kill my wallet. The Starstring Tarot by Eliza Kingsbury. And what sold me on this deck, I love the images, but what sold me, oh, it smells so good, is it is this fabulous linen. I don't know if you can see. I mean, it's just a really good linen. Oh, I don't think it's going to come up in this light. Yeah, I can't get it. Really good linen cardstock. But I don't think I've ever seen, I'm trying to think if I've ever owned a deck that's a linen deck that comes edged. So it's kind of a black, a little bit iridescent. Here are the backings. So the Starstring Tarot, I've shuffled it a bit. Oops, I've just dropped all the cards. Hold on. Well, not all the cards. I've shuffled it a bit, but I haven't read with it. I haven't really played with it. I've just had it a few days. So it hasn't been in my cauldron. It hasn't been simmering like Anna's deck. I like the, you know, in certain light, the edging, I don't know if you can see it, it looks almost like graphite. It's really pretty. I'm not a big fan of edging, but, and this deck is a deck that, you know, says it's inspired by nature, the cosmos, and anatomy. But it says, by simply existing, we share the common thread of anatomy, nature, and the cosmos. When we tie these themes to our human experience, we can find new meaning in life, like the stars that string together in the sky to offer navigation. I offer this deck, I hope this deck, helps you navigate through your own human experience. But that idea of what threads us together, the natural world, the world of our own bodies, and the sky. I like the idea of threads and strings and connecting the dots as a way of navigating. For me, strings also always make me think of the labyrinth and the Ariadne's thread that helps us make our way through this labyrinth of our lives. So what I liked about this deck when I saw images of it online, it's black and white, and the woodcut quality of the imagery just really super appealed to me. And the death card, which is the fox, it has an image of a fox, was just super striking. The fox is kind of my totem animal, so go figure, an animal that often gets associated with the wands and with fire, but in this deck is the emblem of death. Okay, so Starstring Tarot. My second black and white deck. What do you have to teach me? What do you want to teach me? Ooh, and I need to shuffle one more time. Okay, another star. But this star is different. There's not a reaching. There's an actual being on the star itself, being at the fire itself. And then look at what's emerging, the light that's emerging from her, that's piercing through her. So you're saying you're going to help me inhabit the light, to let it flow through me, pierce through me. this work of navigation, are you saying? Is it going to be a full body thing, taking me over completely? Knight of Swords, another knight. This rooster, yeah. You know, I mean, I just think about the piercing cry of the rooster at the break of light, of day, that chanticleer quality, and this side of me that definitely needs to call out into the world, into the light that says, it's here, the light is here. The light is here, that allows that to become my voice, my song, my breath, and is not afraid about waking up the whole damn neighborhood. I mentioned my neighbors that have chickens, and they had one very annoying rooster who may or may not have actually made it into soup at one point because he was attacking all the little chicks. Roosters are a pain in the ass. Knight of Swords, pain in the ass. And yet, allow the light to sing through you. Is that what you're saying? Like, just be a pain in the ass. Esther, be a pain in the ass. Is that what you're going to be inviting me to do? Okay. And just celebrate it, right? I've gotten a lot of Six of Wands lately, too. Triumph, celebration, recognition, being out there in all my Leo-ness. There's a lot of fire here, folks. You know, wands, I mean, I've said this many a time, but yeah, but the wands are the suit, and the element of fire probably the element that most kind of speaks to me. So there you have it. I think I'll stop this video here and do the second duel in a second video, but I'd be curious in comments below, which of these two, you know, between the Starstring and the Tarot of the Abyss, which do you think gave me the most powerful reading, the reading that should win out? They're both amazing decks, aren't they? All right, my lovelies. See you soon. Thanks for your practice.